Look at your Instagram feed right now. What do you see? Perfect smiles, vacation highlights, achievement announcements. But there's another group of people you won't find there. The ghosts, the shadows, the ones who watch but never post. In a world screaming for attention, they choose silence. In an economy built on validation, they refuse to participate. And everyone who knows them wonders the same thing. What's wrong with them? Today, we're going inside the minds of people who don't post their photos on social media. This isn't about social anxiety alone. That's just the surface. We're going 5 layers deeper into the psychology of digital invisibility. First, let's acknowledge the paradox we're living in. We have more ways to be seen than any generation in history. Yet, according to a 2024 Stanford study, 37% of social media users have never posted a single photo of themselves. Not one. That's over 1 billion people worldwide choosing digital anonymity. And when we ask why, and we get surface answers. I don't like how I look. I'm private. But these are symptoms, not causes. The truth is, not posting photos isn't one decision. It's the endpoint of 5 completely different psychological journeys. And by understanding these, you'll not only understand them better, you might understand yourself differently too. Meet Type 1, the privacy architect. This isn't someone who's scared of being seen. This is someone who's calculated the exact cost of visibility and found the price too high. For them, every photo uploaded isn't just a memory. It's data. It's facial recognition algorithms learning their features. It's location metadata creating a pattern of their movements. It's behavioral psychology predicting their next move. People think they're paranoid, but consider this. A photo with a street sign, plus a timestamp, plus facial recognition equals knowing exactly where you were, when, and with whom. They're not hiding, they're practicing. Informed consent. In a world that's forgotten what privacy means. The privacy architect operates on a simple principle. What goes online stays online forever, and they've decided their life isn't for public consumption. This isn't fear. It's a philosophical stance in the digital age. Now we enter darker territory. Type 2, the anxiety avoider. For them, posting a photo isn't sharing. It's entering an arena of judgment they're psychologically unprepared for. This goes deeper than I don't like my smile. We're talking about clinical conditions. Body dysmorphic disorder, where people see distortions others don't. Social anxiety disorder, where the thought of being observed triggers panic attacks. Or childhood trauma, where visibility meant vulnerability. Research shows something fascinating. For anxiety avoiders, the upload button triggers the same neural pathways as public speaking does for others. Their amygdala, the fear center, lights up as if facing physical danger. But here's what most people misunderstand. Their avoidance isn't about vanity. It's about a nervous system that's wired to perceive social evaluation as literal threat. When they say, "I don't like photos of myself," they're not being modest. They're reporting a physiological reality. What makes this type particularly tragic in 2024? Social media algorithms punish inactivity. The less you post, the less you're shown. So anxiety avoiders get caught in a spiral. Their fear of posting makes them invisible, which confirms their fear of not mattering. Type 3 is where society gets it completely wrong. The introverted observer. People assume they're hiding. Actually, they're doing something most of us have forgotten. Living life instead of performing it. Introversion isn't shyness. It's a different energy economy. Extroverts gain energy from social interaction. Introverts spend energy on it. For the introverted observer, posting photos isn't sharing joy. It's starting a conversation they'll have to maintain. When they travel, they want to experience the cathedral, not think about which angle will get the most likes. When they achieve something, they want to feel proud, not wait for validation to tell them they should be proud. This type reveals an uncomfortable truth about social media. We've confused documentation with experience. The introverted observer refuses to let the camera become a barrier between them and their own life. But there's a deeper layer here. Introverted observers often have what psychologists call high stimulation sensitivity. Their brains process information more deeply. A single conversation, a sunset, a good book. These create rich internal experiences that don't need external validation. They're not missing out on connection. They're practicing a different kind, depth over breadth, substance over signals. Now we reach the most misunderstood type, the confidence paradox. These are the people so secure in themselves that they don't need to prove they exist. While everyone else is shouting, "Look at me," they're quietly building. While others curate their highlight reels, they're living uncurated lives. Their absence from social media isn't a deficiency, it's an overflow of real-world validation. Research found something revolutionary. The people most confident in real-world social settings are often the least active on social media. Why? Because they're getting their validation needs met through actual human connection. This creates what I call the confidence loop. Real confidence leads to less need for digital validation, which creates more time for real-world achievement, which builds more real confidence. The confidence paradox challenges our fundamental assumption that posting equals confidence. Sometimes it's the opposite. Posting can be a signal of confidence or a cry for the confidence you lack. These people have what ancient philosophers called Ataraxia, tranquility that comes from not depending on external opinion. Their identity isn't something they perform online. It's something they embody offline. Our final type represents a growing movement, the digital minimalist. This isn't a psychological condition, it's a philosophical choice. Digital minimalists see social media the way vegetarians see meat, not as something to fear, but as something they've consciously decided doesn't align with their values. They follow 3 principles. Intentionality. Every online action must serve a clear purpose. Boundaries. Technology serves life, not the opposite. And quality over quantity. Digital interactions must be meaningful or none at all. What makes them different from the privacy architect? It's not about hiding data. It's about reclaiming attention. Studies show the average person checks their phone 96 times a day. Digital minimalists ask, what could you create with those 96 attention units? They've done the math, 30 minutes. Daily scrolling equals 182 hours yearly. That's a month of full-time work. A language learned. A business started. A book written. But here's their real insight. The most valuable resource in the 21st century isn't money, or data, or even time. It's attention, and they've decided their attention is too valuable to spend on performances. Now, reality check. Most people are blends of these types. You might be 40% privacy architect, 30% digital minimalist, 20% introverted observer, and 10% anxiety avoider. Take this quick self-assessment. Do you calculate risks before posting? That's privacy architect tendencies. Does posting trigger physical anxiety? That's anxiety avoider patterns. Do you prefer experiencing over documenting? That's introverted observer traits. Is your real-world confidence independent of likes? That's confidence paradox. Do you consciously limit digital consumption? That's digital minimalist. But here's the critical question our society keeps getting wrong. Is this healthy or unhealthy? The answer isn't simple, because we're asking the wrong question. Instead of, is not posting healthy? We should ask, what function does not posting serve for this specific person? Healthy non-posting. It's a conscious choice aligned with values. It creates more time for meaningful activities. It reduces stress without creating isolation. It's part of a balanced digital diet. Unhealthy non-posting. It's driven by fear rather than choice. It creates social isolation rather than selectivity. It stems from distorted self-image. It prevents genuine connection. The red flag isn't not posting. It's when digital invisibility becomes a prison rather than a choice. When avoidance replaces boundaries. When fear masquerades as philosophy. A healthy relationship with social media, whether highly active or completely absent, follows one rule. You control it. It doesn't control you. Why does our society pressure everyone to perform visibility? Because we've confused being seen with existing. We've made digital presence a moral obligation. But think about human history. For thousands of years, people lived, loved, achieved, and died without leaving a single image of themselves. Their worth wasn't measured in pixels. Their legacy wasn't a highlight reel. The pressure to constantly document assumes that experiences only become real when shared. But that's a modern sickness, what psychologists call experiential outsourcing. The people who don't post photos might be the canaries in the coal mine. They're reminding us of something we're forgetting, that a life lived fully is its own validation, that memories can exist without metadata, that identity doesn't require an audience, whether you're someone who doesn't post, or you're trying to understand someone who doesn't. Remember, first, respect different digital diets. Some people are vegetarians. Some are vegans. Some eat everything. Second, ask why, not why not. Understand the function, not just the behavior. Third, check your assumptions. Not posting isn't always hiding. Sometimes it's focusing. Fourth, quality over quantity. One meaningful conversation beats 1,000 likes. Fifth, your worth isn't your visibility. You existed before social media. You'll exist after it. Here's what I've learned from studying this phenomenon. The people who don't post their photos aren't necessarily against social media. They're for something else more. They're for uninterrupted experiences, for unmediated memories, for attention as a sacred resource, for privacy as a human right, for confidence that comes from within. In a world constantly asking for their attention, they've made the radical choice to pay attention to something else. Their actual lives. If this resonated with you and whether you post constantly, sometimes or never, I want you to do one thing this week. Have one experience you don't document. Not a single photo, not a status update, just you, fully present, with no audience but yourself. And if you want to understand more about how our minds work in this digital age, hit subscribe. We're just getting started exploring the psychology of modern life. Because understanding why people do what they do isn't just psychology, it's the first step toward understanding ourselves.